Happy Wednesday, guys. I'm Toni Shiloh, and I'm coming here to bring you another Wednesday excerpt. This time, I'm going to be reading an excerpt from my novel, Risky Love. It's the fourth book in the Maple Run series. So if you haven't heard read the first three, um, I would encourage you to do so. I love them. The Maple Run series holds a special place in my heart, and this couple in particular were extra persnickety when it came to writing their stories. So they have a bigger place in my heart than the other three couples. But I'm not going to tell you who's my favorite. Instead, I'm just going to read straight from chapter one and give you a little snippet of what it's like in the final book of the Maple Run series. Welcome to the Maple Pit. Nikki Gordon forgot the rest of her speech because Gregory, Shorty Smalls, had just walked into the pit with another woman. Her breath faltered as she looked into Shorty's dark brown eyes. He flashed his engaging grin as if nothing momentous had just occurred. She cataloged his features, taking in his warm russet brown skin, the close-cropped haircut that had always had her hands itching for a fill. Everything looked the same, except for the woman standing next to him. Nikki, can we get a table? Shorty eyed her, his head tilted in confusion. Right. She grabbed two menus as her heart stuttered back to life in her chest. For the past 6 years, she'd been the pit's hostess, and not once had Shorty come in with a woman who wasn't a relative. Not once had she imagined him walking in with a very attractive, petite blonde woman with a cute button nose. He's not your boyfriend. And didn't that burn? Right this way, she spun on her heel, marching toward an empty table. No way would she put them in a booth where they could get all cozy. Placing the menus down, she forced her lips upward. If her smile looked as painful as it felt, the mystery lady would think Nikki the most insincere hostess ever. Not that I care. Your server will be right out. The words strained past the lump in her throat. Wait up, Nikki. Shorty held up his hand. Yes? His words rooted her to the floor. Nikki, meet Trina. Trina, this is Nikki. He was introducing them to one another? Ugh. Nice to meet you, Nikki. Trina brushed her platinum blonde locks behind her ear. Trina screamed money in class. She tried not to gape at the woman's cultured tone and to remember her manners. Likewise, enjoy your meal. The words almost broke her teeth. Nikki spun around and hurried away before Shorty could prolong the torture. Thank goodness she would be watching the pit's interest instead of being forced to witness him carrying on with Little Miss Perfect. Nikki looked up and gasped in horror when she saw who she'd just run into. Mrs. Williams, one of the pit's owners, arched an eyebrow, crossing her arms across her chest. What in the world, Nikki? Where are you going to in such a hurry? Are you trying to put out a fire? No, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Because I can practically see Shorty making eyes at that woman. I noticed. Mrs. Williams smirked, looking over Nikki's shoulder. Who's the blonde? Her name is Trina. She's with Shorty. But how? With? Heat crawled up her face, probably turning it the same shade of red as her hair. I have no idea. Mrs. Williams said. I guess you were too busy not paying attention. Tears came rushing forward. The thought had already crossed her mind. She glanced up at the ceiling, willing her eyes to stay dry. This was not the time nor the place. But it looks like you're paying attention now. With a pat on her cheek, Mrs. Williams continued past her. Nikki headed for the restroom in the back of the restaurant. A quick trip should help her regain composure. For the last few years, she'd been sidestepping Shorty's flirting. At least that's what she'd assumed he'd been doing. When it got to be too much, she'd ask for friendship. And shouldn't she know if he was dating? Because they were friends. Not dating? Didn't she at least have that right? Who exactly was Trina? His girlfriend? And I think that's enough just to get you interested in picking up your own copy of Risky Love. Again, it's the fourth book in the Maple Run series. And even though I think you should read them all, I do also think that there is enough in this book that you don't have to read the other three. You just should. Thanks again for joining me for Wednesday excerpts, you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic day.